Oh, hey, pup. What are you doing over here all on your own? Seriously, have you come over from the taiga? Well, you know what? It just so happens that I was on my way over to bone meal some potatoes. So I have a treat for you. I have all the treats for you. Here, boy. Come on. Come here. Want a bone? Yeah. Ah, we're best friends. Good boy. Alright, you can come with me to bone meal potatoes. We have a dog. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Play series with me, Macrocosm. I've been doing a little fishing, seeing as I was waiting for my villagers to grow up and multiply, and they have somewhat, it's starting to bustle a little bit around here. It's not overrun by any means, but we've got a few. So while I was waiting for them to do their thing, I decided to do a little fishing. Ooh. Mending look of the C3. Well, that'll go just nicely with this on Breaking 3, Lure 3. Perfect. Let's get those put together. Oh wait, I got a Power 4 book. Sweet. So as you can see, I ended up with a pretty badass fishing rod in the end, and continued my fishing efforts, and I'll show you the result of that later, but right now I'll show you the result of my villaging efforts. Do you see this? The cheek of this. I was looking around for villagers down here, about halfway through my fishing experiment. Not very many to be found, so I came up to get something out of my house that I built for me, and these guys have just moved in. Look, he's rummaging in my drawers. Do you mind? You weren't much good at guarding the place. I mean, I just got a dog. You'd think maybe I should train you, at least name you. Suggestions in the comments below, folks, for names for the new dog. That was unexpected too. But anyway, apparently these guys all live here now. I'm going to decide that they're staff, seeing as they weren't invited. So now you work for me, buddy. How you like that, huh? I guess I have to pay them now. Stay out of my stuff. You, come with me. Good afternoon. Hello. Excuse me, child. Hello. So today we're going to spend a bit of a chill day in the world, I think. Last episode we did quite a lot of building. I mean, all of this was last episode. So we're going to take it easy this episode a little bit. Don't worry, it'll still be enjoyable and entertaining and exciting, I'm sure. But first, I'll show you what I got from fishing. Look at all these goodies. Now, I'm not going to lie, this wasn't 5 minutes. I spent a good couple of hours at least fishing. We have saddles for all our many horses that we don't have, but we could have shortly. That plus what we got in the nether that time. We have the makings of a large ranch, which I'm thinking about. Maybe. This is my awesome fishing rod. Do you like it? That made all of this possible. We have another name tag, so that's maybe set up for a doggy here. The main reason that I was fishing was to get some of these boys, pufferfish. But it seems that these must be Australian coastal waters, because you can't put your rod in this water without pulling out a pufferfish, which is true of Australia wide, I'm pretty sure. Anytime you see people fishing off the coast, you get pufferfish pulled out, which is not generally what people want. Other than that, we got a fire protection book, Bane of Arthropods 4, which is no use to us now. Could have helped when I was dying repeatedly to spiders, but Power 3, protection 3, sharpness 3. Some helpful things, you know? Some efficiency, aqua affinity. That'll go nicely on my helmet. But aside from these nautilus shells, which are helpful, or will be helpful in the future, this little beauty popped up. A mending book, my dears. And that's going straight on one of my pickaxes, though I haven't decided which one yet. It's either going to be the Silk Touch or the Fortune 3, as you might imagine. Another thing that I've been forgetting to do, so I shan't put it off any longer, is that one of these name tags was set aside to name our beautiful boy out here, our horse. And I had a nice suggestion in the comments as to what I should name him. So I'm going to run back up to our anvil and get that done right now. Maybe I should take the horse. That'd be an idea. So a few episodes back, I had called for suggestions in the comments for a name for this boy, as I've mentioned. And one of our lovely viewers suggested this. 117. There he is in all his glory. And now, as I mentioned, because I won't be going from 116 to 117, I'm going to wait until I go to 118. You know, I like this world. I started before 117 started. So I'm going to stick with it until we get to 118. So the idea of this is, now I'm on 117. Great suggestion. Thank you very much for suggesting that. Now whenever I want to be on 117, I can be. But we're going to leave this boy in his stables here. And I may even leave a little pup in here too. Don't let me forget that's where I left him. First things first though, I'm going on a little adventure for the start of this episode. We haven't been back to the desert at all since I went out there. I spent ages looking for it, and when I found it, I spent very little time there. The most important thing that I'm looking for is some abundance of sand. To be honest, I need to get some more glass smelted up to fill in some of those windows that we made for the village. But while I'm out here, I'll have a quick look around too, because while I was out there, I had been traveling by boat and over land for hour upon hour. And I got there and kind of didn't spend long enough and just left. So let's spend a little time out here, do a little exploring, see what we find. Yeah? Sure, let's go. G'day, mate. Fancy meeting you out here. You look right at home in this environment. Let's see what you're selling. Coral block, of course. Well, at least it's not sand. You know, you've got a habit of selling things that are right here. So, okay, fair enough. I don't have any emeralds on me, so I'm just messing with your head. Sorry about that. Alright, we don't want to mess with this. Yikes. Anybody for some stewed rabbit? Wow, look at that. Sand mountain. I guess they're called dunes. Sand mountains, micro, honestly. I gotta climb that. For all the time that I spent trying to find a desert, honestly, anybody who ever looks at this map in the future is just gonna laugh, because this thing goes on forever. Forever. It's nice up here on this mountain. It's a nice place to spend the night. Dune. Giant dune, not mountain. Oh, there's a village over there. Savannah village. Let's have a nose about. Good afternoon. That's a nice bell you have there. Ah, I spot a desert village right on the edge of a savanna in the distance. That's the first desert village I've seen. This is a nice bell you've got here. Why are you all staring at me like that? Another village. Say, that's a nice. Nobody's around. Well, I was hoping to run into a mesa while I was out here near the desert. Seeing as Minecraft tends to group biomes of similar types close together, not always, but sometimes you'll find a mesa near a desert, just like you'll find the savannah near the desert like we did. But no such luck this time around. So I guess I better get on with collecting the sand, which is the main reason I came out here. Still, we got some goodies, including 3 bells I've just picked up from somewhere. They're just lying around. So why am I getting 3 bells? Well, I will need a bell for the village one way or the other. I want to have a central meeting place. But I believe bells, they have a circumference area of effect of 32 blocks. I think our village might be larger than that, and is also slightly awkwardly shaped, so even if I had 2, it might not be enough. Ooh, we've got a little portal remnant here. No sign of a chest. Let's do a dig with the shovel, perhaps. Is there a buried chest around here, perhaps? Ooh, there could be. This is unintended buried treasure, if there is. Hey, listen, I was going to try and get some sand anyway, so... What? Oh, look at this. Look at this unintended buried treasure. What do we get? 2 pieces of obsidian and some flint and steels. 1 piece of flint. Yay! Oh well, it was exciting for a moment. Gold. Well, that makes it worthwhile, digging all this out. There you go. Anybody who didn't know, dig around these things. Could find some hidden goodies. Well, that's about all the sand that I can hold before my shovel breaks. So I guess I gotta head home. So I'll go over here to the ocean part and maybe we'll see something different on the way back. Who knows? Did I finish what I was saying? The bells, right? So the village is a little awkwardly shaped, so I'm thinking 2 bells might not cover the entire area that will be village. Because the idea is that if anything bad happens or nasties turn up, certainly raids, the villagers run to the nearest bell and ring it, and they warn the other villagers to run indoors and get safe. Now, if a villager can't hear that bell or a villager can't reach that bell, then that doesn't happen, and I can't be expected to run around ringing all the bells as soon as something goes on. So I'm going to put 3 in. I might do a little research to make sure that that doesn't confuse things in the village before I do it. But that's what I'm thinking. 3 bells, 3 separate village centers, if you like. Home sweet home. Hello, folks. I come bearing windows. In raw form. And pickles. You like pickles? Okay, we're home again. We have our lovely dog with us again. Let's say hello to all our... How rude are these people? My staff, I mean. Sheesh. You guys want to watch yourselves or, you know, redundancy happens. What? This place is full. Anyway, I was saying, I think it's time for a quick map update. This does not resemble what we've got outside, so let's get that done. There we go, that's better. That's much more true to life. Now, next, I want to show you guys this thing. See this on the map? I'm not sure I've showed you this before. It's just outside the house that we're in right here. And this is what it looks like up close. Right? It's one of those kind of almost circular holes in the ground Minecraft generates sometimes. But in its depths back here is something kind of spectacular. A very, very dangerous chasm. And a magic tree that managed to grow down here. I'm not sure how that happened, but there it is. So what I'm thinking is, hopefully this is a good idea. This might be the ideal place, given that I get down here and light it up and make it safe, and whoever's glowing in the distance there doesn't kill me. I just saw a creeper fall off a ledge. These places are death traps. Okay, so I'm going to be careful and light this up very carefully, and then we'll venture down. And I'm thinking maybe this is the perfect place to put some automated farms. So we've been harvesting our sugarcane, and it's a bit of an eyesore here on the coast. And there's other things that we want close by, when I'm rummaging around the village a little bit and doing my thing. We want things ticking along and creating whatever we have automated. Now, I'm not going to do that with wheat or potatoes and the likes, because we've got our farm over in that direction and it produces more than enough for what we need. So as I'm doing my best to light this thing up and not die in the meantime, I'm thinking I'm going to end up digging into these walls, probably both sides, and creating little rooms for these automated farms, right? Maybe not so little. The first couple will probably be relatively small. And that's all fine and well, but then things might start getting larger depending on what farms we want, right? So I think it only makes sense that maybe in the next episode we go wither skull farming. Let's hope it's fun and not a complete nightmare. Well, I guess we'll find out. So the first little farm that we're going to build is going to be right in here. Mainly because there's some caves here already, so it's going to save us some of that digging until we get our beacon. So we're going to be doing this without efficiency 5 and without instamine, but it shouldn't be too bad. Now, an automatic sugarcane farm isn't too difficult, and most of you have probably already done the likes before yourselves, so I won't bore you with all the details. But when I come back, I'll have it built, if not decorated, and I'll run you through it, in case there's anybody out there who doesn't know. I'll run you through how it works. Spoiler alert, I decided to put sandstone into my new build. So of course that meant that I had to go back to the desert. All the way back. And inevitably I got lost. I got a little bit lost, and then I realized that I was lost. And then I got very lost, and I decided to just keep going. And that all resulted in me finding this. Isn't it beautiful? Right, we've hit the ice. I'm going to take a look around, but since I have my Silk Touch pick with me, I'm going to grab some of this while I'm here. I don't have a specific use for it right now, but ice is always handy to have, so I'm definitely going to take some. Those of you who have been watching since the start may remember that we did find some ice before, an ice biome previously, but it was small. And this one definitely isn't. Look, it travels off into the distance there as well. I have this thing where, especially with rarer biomes, if it's small, I don't want to destroy it. So when we found our desert, if that was small as well, I probably wouldn't be going back to it to get sand and sandstone and things. I just don't like to completely destroy an entire biome for the sake of resources. Usually there's other ways to get it, So that's why I didn't grab a lot of ice. Well, that plus I didn't have Silk Touch at the time. But it's why I didn't go back to that one for ice. And we're going to take it from here because plenty. It's not going to miss this one iceberg. quick update for you. I've got one side of this machine functional now. There's going to be 2 sides, so one here and one over here with the storage at the back, as you can see. Let's show you how it looks in action. So if I put some sugarcane in front of this observer here, we get it all kicked off. Our minecart rolls up, unloads what it's got, and then goes back into its original position. Now, the reason why it's slightly different to a standard one, listen, guys, I'm not a redstone genius. I'm nowhere close to being a redstone anything. But occasionally I'll put something together because I think it makes sense to me. Trust me, I'm going to try and get better at redstone. For now, it's a hodgepodge of whatever I come up with. So this is based on a very old design for a sugarcane farm, which generally tends to be about this long as far as I could see. So I wanted it to be a little bit longer to fill up this area here. So I extended it out. Now, as you'll see when I show you a few of the steps that go into making it, extending it means you have to make a couple of compromises. But what this machine does in the end is doesn't have this minecart going back and forth constantly, which other designs do. This one will only kick that minecart off once you have that observer see some sugarcane. First things first, your powered rails. This is probably the most important step because it sets up everything you need for this minecart to work properly. So you want one on top of this hopper here. That is not going to be powered by our power source in the center. So you want 8 blocks this direction, and then your power source, which is a redstone block in this case. Now, if I pop down another powered rail on this, you'll see all of these are immediately powered. This one is not. Okay. On this other side, it's going to be the same story. So we'll pop down all our powered rails to the end here, and outside of the 8 block, that one is not powered. That's where our minecart is going to sit, as you can see over there. Back here, we do a very simple unloader for our hopper minecart once it comes up over this hopper here. So we have a comparator running out from this hopper here into a block. Down here, we've got a redstone torch, and up at the top here, in the center, you're going to have your redstone repeater. Very simply, as the hopper minecart rolls over this hopper and starts feeding items into it, so as long as it's got something to give this hopper, the hopper will give a signal to this comparator telling it to turn this torch off. This unpowers this block, meaning that this is unpowered. That means our rail is unpowered too, and our hopper minecart goes nowhere. So it stopped unloading. As soon as it stops unloading, this no longer gives that signal to the comparator. The whole system turns off. Next, we place our sand. You can just put these right on top of the powered rails here. The rails themselves act in-game as if they're a full block. So you can't place anything directly on top of the rail here. It acts as if there's a block on top. So you can just pop down some sand and it'll just hover there, even though gravity affects sand. Leave a little gap in this area to allow enough room for the hopper minecart to make its way up. Otherwise, it's going to hit that if that was there, and it won't make its way down. Next, build up blocks of your choosing behind the entire thing. The reason is to build this little trough here beside the sand so that it'll hold our water so our sugarcane can grow. Now, something I like to do is place stairs in here where the water will go, like that. So if you put upside down stairs here, which of course can be waterlogged, then you won't see your water behind your sugarcane. And that's helpful if you're doing a design that has a gap here before your first piston, which might be in that block's position. You might like to leave that. So that's a nice clean look if you're doing that. Otherwise, you can leave the water in and just cover it up with a block like that. Now we fill up our water. So have an infinite spring handy to save you some running back and forth. But of course, as soon as you've got your second block in here, you can take the middle one and work your way down as you usually would. Another layer of blocks at the back in whatever decorative block you would like. This is what will be seen behind the sugarcane once the front is put on the machine. And at this stage, we can put in our sugarcane. Now you'll notice in the center here, on the other side, and here as well, we're going to leave one block empty. That'll make sense in a minute. Now we put in our pistons facing the sugarcane at this level. So this is our base level for our sugarcane. First level up after that, that's the level the pistons go at. 14 per side will do for this design. Then right at the last piece of sugarcane here, we can place our observer facing in over this piston. Now we want our wall to go right the way up to behind our pistons so that they are level, you see? And with a little redstone dust on top of that observer, run it all the way down behind pistons here, with the exception of this block here, okay? Now, what I've done is about halfway down, you put yourself a repeater. That's going to continue the signal down so it doesn't run out before we get to the end here. Then continue your redstone dust down and around so it feeds into a repeater that points into that block. You want to set that repeater on 4 ticks. And the reason for that is so that it delays and holds the signal for this powered rail to light up long enough to get that hopper minecart moving. A single pulse just doesn't seem to do it. Now again, I'm not a redstone expert. There's people out there who can tell you exactly why all that works, and hopefully eventually I can tell you too. But for now, what I know is it works if you delay this signal. Now I'm sure that there are neater, better ways of doing all this, but this works for me. And right now, working is what I'm going for. Pop in your hopper minecart. Give it a little test. Beautiful. And there you have the finished machines with a little bit of sandstone and some grey glass just to make it look presentable. But Micro, it's so ugly. I understand. I agree. Don't you worry. In the next episode, I will have this all prettied up for you and I'll show it off. But today, the goal was to get the machine up and running and functional. By the way, these glass blocks are not just for decoration. You need not have glass, though it allows you to see what's going on and view your lovely sugarcane, gives you an aesthetic. But any blocks need to go into these areas so that sugarcane, when harvested, doesn't fall down into this area here. And so you end up with loss. Okay, when you have these blocks here, it's a lossless system. Every sugarcane that gets hit by these pistons will be picked up by a hopper cart and you don't lose a thing. And there you can see it in action. The hopper minecart rolls along and collects all that precious sugarcane. We have a couple of pieces up here in the top, but that'll be taken care of once the ceiling goes in. And that should be a pretty good crop. 25 sugarcane from one harvest. Not bad. This will be passive as we go about our business up in the village. This will continue to create sugarcane for us. It should be more than enough for us for the rest of the season. And as you can hear, The hopper minecart has returned to its original position at this end and won't continue down along this line again until there's another harvest. So no annoying minecart noises for us constantly down here, which is perfect. And that's about all the time we have for this episode, folks. But before I go, I'd like to give a little shout out to a user called A Sleep Deprived Dog. And they posted what was a very well thought out and very kind feedback comment to me last week, which just did the trick for keeping me going and giving me some answers to questions that I had about what I was doing. Very much appreciated, mate. He also has a YouTube channel, A Sleep Deprived Dog. Check him out. He does some very interesting takes on the Minecraft experience. Definitely worth a watch. And by the way, he didn't ask me to give him a shout out. I'm just doing that because pay it forward. Be nice, folks. The internet needs a little bit more of it, I think, don't you? Yeah. So till next time, stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.